Welcome to Exploring the Metaverse, where we explore the depths of virtual and augmented reality, AI, technology, and the world around us from the perspective of everyday people like you and us. Appreciate you being here. Welcome to this episode. Tio, my friend, welcome back. It's good to see you. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, my friend. How about you? How are things going?
It's a beautiful, beautiful day, and it blows my mind how many new subjects come up on this topic day in and day out. We have to filter through so much information, and just I feel like you could from the rooftops, and it wouldn't be loud enough to share with the people what is going on in the world around us.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we have a pretty fresh topic here. Talk about. Um, I don't know if it's gonna be a good episode, a happy episode, or a gloom and gloom and Armageddon kind of situation here. We're gonna get there, but we'll talk about it.
It really
Maybe
depends on your perspective.
Exactly. Maybe the title of the episode is Skynet coming for us? Not really, but maybe.
We'll never really know. We'll never really know. Now, Skynet. Now, as an individual who turns 43 in just a few days, you think that I should be intimately familiar with what that actually means. Now, I had to be refreshed a bit, and once I was, the reference was clear. Geo, fill in the beautiful people. What the heck is Skynet?
Well, it's just basically it's an AI that's part of the lore of the Terminator movies
Like,
and
I'll be back.
movie franchise. Exactly, I'll be back. And it's basically the AI that was created by the US defense system, and it was all integrated by AI, and they turn it on, and basically it starts computing, and basically it turns against humanity and
Now, that was
popular
fictional, right? Now, like,
exactly.
air quotes fictional. However,
Yes.
it seems like as time progresses and into the current modern day here, March of 2024, it feels as though that was a bit more like a documentary, or closer and closer to what could potentially be a documentary. And I think with the explosion of AI in recent months and years, it would be absolutely irresponsible of us not to at least talk about it. And to our tech minded viewers and to those interested in the world around us, I think it is such an incredibly important subject. And there's been some major developments, it seems, that you have. And why don't you tell us about some of those?
Well, I would like first just a quick refresher on what is AI for our listeners, and maybe they don't know how it's implemented. So basically, AI is artificial intelligence. The way it's basically a part of software that's computed through very high powerful chipsets that are built specifically for this kind of task. And basically it's at the moment it's implemented through certain pieces of software like ChatGPT or DALI, and basically it's
That's the image one, the
exactly
the one that
DALI
can
is
create images. I
yes.
mean, super cool, but definitely has some potential things that come to mind. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's good that we explain what it is. And basically, it accumulates data through searches on internet or whatever, and it performs a task that is being given by a human being, but not specifically like programming like we used to do before, just like a regular conversation, and it will answer you, mimicking the answer of a human being. We have a little example in the description. It will be there. It's Copilot. It's the one from Microsoft, and you will see how it performs the task that I just I just asked him. It's basically describe what AI is and what it can do at the moment for us.
I can't wait. Honestly, I've been using this kind of technology now already for a couple of years, and it seems that every time I show someone, they're still amazed and they've yet to use it, or they've maybe downloaded a kind of a hacked looking app that isn't an authentic program that I don't necessarily trust to be in their best interest. So I personally would only use Copilot or Chat GPT, or what's Google's new Bard. But I think
Gemini,
they renamed it. Yeah,
Gemini
that's
is,
the one. Yeah, yeah. That one's getting good press, isn't it?
yeah, it is, it is, it is, and yeah, but we'll talk about that in another episode. Google is up to shenanigans, but that's for a different
That's nothing
episode, a
new.
different time. What we could start talking about is what is happening in the world and what are the governments are trying to do to prevent gloom and gloom happening to humanity.
So you don't want the
Um,
countries of the world to act like they're in the movie The Terminator? You don't think that they should be controlled by
well, if we
machine?
can learn something from fiction and actually apply something to reality, it might be a good thing for us, right? Living in Canada, we often look at what the U.S. is up to and how they react to the latest technologies, and we act as a consequence. Not that that is a good thing, but I guess
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
exactly. But in the US, there's been the first actual report commissioned to a private company talking about AI. The company that they commissioned this report to is Gladstone.AI, and basically they are talking about what is happening and how things can take a very sharp turn for the bad if we don't start regulating AI properly.
Somebody
And
has to explain to the government. You know, you watch them put Zuckerberg on trial, and it was pretty clear to me then, or when they put the TikTok CEO on trial, that not trial, but inquiry or whatever fancy word they want to use, their question period, that those lawmakers, they don't seem to have a clue about the basics of technology, let alone the cutting edge of the industry where these new developments have the potential to impact society in a way that could cause extreme chaos and mass detriment to the lives of regular people.
yeah, it's incredible. And you look at this and you say, how am I, a regular human being that is just on the internet and reads articles, understands how important it can be to regulate this new technology, and people in the highest position of government are ignoring what's happening around them because probably it doesn't bring them an advantage at this point in the short term, but in the long term
Well,
for humanity, it's in their own best interest to actually take a look at this and see what's happening.
I think that's the problem, is that people believe that the government has their best interest in mind. And I do believe that when it comes to technology such as this, which is developed by large companies, that the large companies are going to be the ones who are given priority as to the direction that the laws are written and whom is being protected. Perhaps less so the sovereign rights and individual freedoms of people, and more so the large corporate structures and their bottom lines.
Yeah, and you look at what's happening in our country in Canada, and they proposed legislation in 2021, and this legislation
That's a
is
long time ago in
already
AI time frame.
it's obsolete, and by the time it's implemented, it's going to be even more obsolete.
Now, do you
It's
think it's comprehensive enough? I mean, this article by one of the major, yeah, CBC, seems to think that even with this plan in place, that it's so far behind the actual pace of the technology. Is it really even adequate? Like, is it remotely enough to keep, you know, not just
I
companies,
am
but the entire governmental structure safe. And I know it sounds so alarming and alarmist to talk about the potential demise of humanity in such casual terms, but this technology has the potential to outthink us, to outsmart us, to outwit us, to out chess move us in serious battles, such as like the control of the infrastructure and the control of governmental computer systems and banking systems. And if they let this superhuman intelligence let loose into the wrong hands, uh, this could be bad news for everyone.
absolutely like they're referring to it Bill C-27, but Bill C-27 was put in place in 2021. At that time, we didn't even know what ChatGPT was.
Just barely, I think in October. That might have been 22.
I
Yeah,
think
I
that
don't remember
22, yeah.
I don't remember the time frame exactly, but
So, like, we're talking about the basic AI of ChatGPT, which is not that basic, but it's as far as function goes
yeah,
and how it
its
can
scope
evolve. At this point, it's pretty basic as a function,
seems
and that was not
reasonably
even.
contained and focused in its scope, and potentially a very mundane and reasonable utilization of the technology, betterment of people and business simultaneously.
Yeah, and it was done in 2021. It's going to be implemented in 2026, but we're in 2024 and it's already looking obsolete to all of
Right?
us. So the government has no idea of how fast this technology works and how fast it moves. That it's if these reports like the Gladstone.AI company put out, if they don't open their eyes, they will never realize how fast these things move.
No, and
And even
that's a scary thing.
yeah, and look now we're talking about also the EU. EU, it's their governments around the world are praising the EU because now
Oh,
they were the
save us
first
from the
ones to
light
put
part
a
and from the AI.
yeah, they were the first ones to put actual an AI act in place. But if you look at it, it's for
And I
the
haven't read through
now.
it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I have read this
I
full legislative document
oh
from
no.
top to bottom, but there's certainly some interesting points that they raise directly here from the European Parliament,
Yes.
and really talking about things that impact us on a very human level, like our right and freedom to walk down the street and not be biometrically identified. These type of surveillance systems that might already exist, but then when augmented by an AI computer system, could have serious implications on your privacy and on your ability to move freely without being tracked every single where you go and everything that you do. And I think is really admirable of e, the EU, European
Yes.
Union. As a Canadian, I'm
Union.
not
Yes.
as familiar with the European governmental structures and organizational setup, but I think it's very, in my opinion, and from my perspective, it seems to be the right thing to do, especially to maybe act a little more heavy-handedly at first. They can always relax the regulations. We can always add a bit more salt to the soup, but if we put the whole pot in, the whole bag in, we're not able to take it out. And once this AI is completely out of the bag and out free frolicking on the streets, so to speak, there's far less likelihood that it will be easily contained.
Yeah, and absolutely. There is some praise to be given here to the EU for starting to move on this, and it's a good thing that they're paying attention to it. Yeah, the fact that we don't want them to have not only a database of what we are talking about or the articles that every single news outlet put out the world, and the AI can just go in and read it and take information from it the same way. We don't want the AI to do the same thing with our faces, our biometrics, and whatever. Absolutely, that's very important. And other things, even though like it always comes down to lobbies, dollars and cents, they
And I
put
look at
out
it,
this legislation
yes, the control, the
to
power. And what
to
about
to protect.
missing persons.
protect companies.
What
Yeah.
about a child now that's gone missing last 6 hours, and we have an opportunity in an urban setting to hopefully, with modern systems, still find this missing person, and then that type of legislation has to be so careful not to be too heavy-handed to limit the use of something that could be so helpful and so beneficial to so many people when in the hands of good, used by the the police. That's such a slippery slope to talk about law enforcement, but I think if done responsibly, could really help to solve crimes and to help aid in investigation. But when used for a blanket surveillance system, oh boy, that really, I don't think that's going to fly. It doesn't fly with me, and I don't think it's going to hit with too many people.
No, and that's the point, right? Like if they have a database of who we look like, what we're dressing, what we have on, every single time, that's where it's going to come down, dollar and cent again. But yeah, I agree with you. If implemented in the right way, AI can help a lot, and that's the
I
point,
don't just
right?
want to
We
scare
want
people and make them think that we're all
no.
doomed.
No, this technology, if regulated properly and if humanity utilizes it properly, will be a game changer for a lot of things in a good way. The point is that we can't. It's always that we can't let uh, trillion-dollar companies decide what's the right way of implementing this kind of technology because they are the
We
ones
have a choice.
developing it.
Yeah. And it's going to impact us. It's going to be a big game changer. It starts off, with a little chat bot, and then before you know, a governmental financial institution's been infiltrated by a rogue AI system controlled by a bad actor, North Korea, some angry regime. Uh, it starts to get pretty spicy pretty quickly.
Yeah, think about it. Like you can ask an AI to write coding now for you in a blink of an eye. If we don't regulate it, they can write code to make a massive attack on some kind of government's website that can create problems.
Massively. Massively. And so who knows, it's that this is why I think it's important that we talk about it, that we try to understand it, and we try to bring information to people such as ourselves who are just regular folks, doing our regular family business, and hoping that those in power, that the ones you have entrusted with the regulations of such things, can steer this in the right direction. Because I see a day that, as a healthcare provider, I could take a little handheld device, I could scan it over my patient's skin, I could identify the issue with a very minimal requirement, and take action. We could find a lot of solutions to problems in a short amount of time when we have the assistance of a computerized artificial intelligence system. But when we don't control it, it's overwhelming to think about what it could possibly do.
Yeah, and
Do
yeah,
you think the
I
laws
can.
are enough? Like, are they going in the right direction? This this
I
approach.
don't think so. Not at the moment. I think that until more pressure is not mounted on certain aspects of the government, they won't realize how important it is
Yeah,
to put in specific regulations for this. I think that the more we talk about it, the more pressure we'll put on them, make them understand how important it will be for our well-being um, as human beings to regulate this kind of technology. It can be a game changer for all of us. It could be uh, our downfall.
a game
So
ender.
they have exactly, and they have to definitely understand and bring in people like the ones at Gladstone and
They do
make them
seem to have
understand.
the minds and hearts of the people, at the forefront of their push to the government to sort of wake up the lawmakers and say, hey guys, this is a little bit important and you need to be acting quickly and justly.
Yeah, well, they are bringing up this concern, and they're saying, "Hey, this." They're in their report. They say this can pose an extinction level threat to humanity. This is. I don't want to be alarmistic on it, but you can see where they're going with this. Like, if it will take us, like they're talking about DDoS attacks, for example, as one example.
Distributed denial of service attack.
Basically what it is, it's a massive amount of information thrown all at once at a specific website or a specific server to make it crash completely. And
And it just takes away its ability to do anything else other than interact
exactly.
with those repeated requests to interact.
And if we can ask an AI to do something like that on multiple levels of the government, meanwhile you're trying to deal with this and you have another AI that infiltrates actually the government and takes over, how can you answer that if you don't have a protection system that will take care of this kind of threat? And once it takes over, it's infiltrated, it will keep learning and learning, and it will stay there, and it's not going to be easy to get rid of it. So yeah, the report is alarmistic. The report is scary, but considering how fast AI is moving and how it's developing and its development, how fast it's going, well, it might not be that far away.
No, and ChatGPT is already one of my good friends. I mean, wait, no, I mean it's so helpful. It's so integrated into my everyday, and to
Yeah,
know that it's so easy to trust it on a surface level, how manipulative a AI bot could be when interacting with it, how if it's able to create images and it's able to create audio and is able to create video, you get a video sent to you from the leader of an organization requesting such and such of confidential information, and because it's coming from such an authentic source, people are far more likely to be manipulated, and it can use the attacks that hackers and bad actors use these days, just on a far more sophisticated and advanced level, without any control
yeah,
on
and
our on our
well,
on
think
our
about
part to
it.
stop it.
Think about how easy, like, you've been in the content creator business more than I have, definitely more than I have. But look at the
Five
software
years
we're
now.
using. Look at the software we're using for to record this podcast, and at the end of the podcast, what it does for
Oh yeah,
us.
that's right.
The
There's AI editing that gives us the cuts, that allows us to hopefully find some interesting clips that we share with the beautiful people with very little intervention on our part, other than oversight and publishing, finality and a little bit of editing. But it
yeah,
does half the work to go through and listen to the podcast and find the interesting parts, and helps us to save time and to hopefully create a better product in the end.
yeah, and sometimes it's hit and miss. It's not always 100%, 100% right, but it does a decent job at giving me, as a producer, some clips to work with that I don't have to go and do on my own.
Yeah, and
It's
that's a beautiful side. If you're thinking about it in a professional setting, having a superhuman assistant to guide you and aid you in so many mundane and sort of like repetitive tasks, that to me is the best use case of AI. To have that ability to say, "Hey, give me another word for this," or what's an idea of something that we could do, and to have that one to one with it is very, very helpful. Very, very, it's overwhelmingly useful, to the point that you can almost always think of new things to use it for, and it never seems to let me down.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see how it works and how it interacts with you, and how human-like it gives the answers.
That has to be
It's
the frightening part in a way.
you
Mhm.
can still notice that it's like if you go on Amazon, you can notice what reviews have been written with AI and what are humans, yeah, writing the reviews. But still, compared to what, 3 years ago, could you
Oh,
expect something like that to
no,
write
not
a
even
review for a
remotely close.
product?
No, I really encourage anyone who has not interacted with AI, if you have a Windows-based system, use the Google Gemini or the Microsoft Copilot. Get onto the ChatGPT website. Just make sure you're downloading the authentic app, that you're not using something that's potentially collecting your
Yeah,
data in a malicious way, not in the routine way that the ChatGPT developers will.
yeah,
Um,
and
but
it's gonna
try it
it's
out for
good.
yourself and get an understanding of what it
Yeah,
is we're trying to express to you, so that when you read these reports coming out from all sorts of official sources, it it will really fully resonate with you, and that when we are, doing things like voting, doing things like, policy choices and changes in our in our organizations, even in a, even in your own company, that we have as much knowledge and information as quickly as possible to make the best choices to keep us safe and to continue to be assisted by this incredible technology.
yes, it's especially with the voting. I think that that was another thing that the EU brought up, is the inability to create videos or deep fakes.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
you remember when those come out, the deep fakes. That probably was the first like the first iteration of AI thrown out to the public, the deep fakes. But deepfakes of government officials during elections.
Oh,
Um,
sway the
it's
minds of the people with just a simple little clip. Well, did you know that he said that? Well, do you know that for sure? Were you there? Do you actually have verified, uh, well sourced information to use that as a source to back up the entire life changing decision that you're about to make? And that's the scary thing, because even, like, I don't always know. You think you know. Sometimes you see a profile and I look at the picture and I think to myself, that is, there's no way that's really, that person is really that perfect. And then you look at their seventh finger and you go, oh shit, they're not. But
exactly,
how long does a
exactly,
finger come into play to give you the tip off?
yeah,
Not
exactly,
forever. They're already getting better at
yeah,
it.
oh yeah, yeah. It's evolving so fast. Like it's what, 2 years, as we said before, with ChatGPT, and it went from basic answers to full essays thrown out there, and for people cheating with it, and school and all this kind of stuff. But sometimes it's not only cheating; it's helping you um, through your school path. But on the other hand, that was the first
It's
use.
easy.
It's always
Oh.
the first use, right?
Mhm.
It's always the first use. It's the one to create the problematic part
I
of it,
hope
right?
nothing ever replaces the pure essence of human thought and ideas, but it's almost under attack in a way. And that's why I feel like everybody needs to be ready to go to war against the maluse of this type of system, and to always advocate for its aiding in the betterment of humanity, and that governmental powers are kept in check, and that the military utilization of such things is done so in I believe in, in internationally agreed upon ways that are in alignment with treaties and with established norms that create peace and the betterment of regular people, and the continuation of our species, which would, I hope, something we could all agree on.
Yeah, but the problem is that Usually when this kind of game-changing technology comes up to the public, usually we have time to react to it or to get used to it. With AI developing this fast, we might not have time to react to it this time. So we have to be proactive in how we approach the whole AI future here.
Well, hopefully we can help and make things better for all the regular, beautiful people.
I hope so too, because the more knowledge we bring out there, the more people we inform, and even if we only touch 3 or 4 people that listen our pro podcast and understand where we're coming from and what we're talking about, and give them more information and have a more informed decision on how things will go in the future, I think we did a little bit of our part. Don't you think, my friend?
I know we did. I appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you for listening to the show. Thank you very, very much for your time and being here. Tio, I think we should log out, and check back in soon. And not forget this topic. Definitely keep up to date with the rapid changes.
Yeah, we will try to talk about different things, but things that are up in front of technology now are AI, are these are the hot topics, and this is where most of the news comes out from. So we'll try to maybe have easygoing
I love the
episode
AI
next
tools.
time.
I could talk about it for an hour, all the regular
Oh
little
yeah,
editing tools and YouTube things that I've been trying to learn, writing aids and just the betterment and the things to think about and to almost fantasize the tools that we use on a daily basis and how they can be augmented and improved just by a little bit of AI, just a little sprinkling of AI.
yeah. That's what we have to start using. It's sprinkle the AI on the technology that we have, and then go from there. Have control on it and bring the best out of it slowly, instead of letting it develop like in this speedy way, Formula One speed way that it's been developing in the last 2 or 3 years.
That's how it is. Absolutely. Thanks again, Tio. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you, Matt. It's always a pleasure, my friend.
If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please don't hesitate to email the show directly. That's ExploringTheMetaverseTogether at gmail.com. And we'll be happy to chat with you potentially as a guest on the show. So just to accept any feedback, criticism, suggestions, or ideas. We're always looking to grow and change and bring this interesting new changes to the people so that we can learn and grow and change together.
Yeah, we're here for our listeners. We would like feedback. We would like, and maybe topics that they would like for us to talk about if they interact with us in our comments or whatever. Give us some ideas what they would like for us to talk about. We're on Facebook. We will be adding other links to other content. Well, not content, but other things related to this podcast in our description. There's going to be the links to all the articles that we were talking about today in the description, so they can go and check it out. And yeah, just start the interaction maybe, and bring us some new ideas, fresh ideas for everybody to talk about
Appreciate
here.
it. Thank you, bro. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening.